Mic up, nerd. This episode brought to you by
Audible.
Oh my God. Audibletrial.com/horrorvirgin for 30 days free and a book to get you started for your book recommendation.
Jen, the recommendation.
Jen.
Woo, I got one. Okay, hey guys, today I am recommending Deliverance by James Dickey.
I'm sorry, what was that last name?
Oh my God. It's a really good book. I'm sure you've heard of it, and I'm sure you know some of the things that are going to happen.
They made
to
a movie out of
I
it.
believe they
did.
probably just heard of the movie.
With Burt Bacharach, or what's his name?
Yeah.
Burt Reynolds?
It's Burt Bacharach.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, read Deliverance.
Actually, don't read Deliverance.
No, it's good.
Maybe listen to it on Audible.
Oh, yeah, that's
Go
right.
to audibletrial.com/horrorvirgin because this is not Jen's book club. This is an ad for Audible.
We should have a Jen's book club. And I just
agree.
signed myself up for hours
Yes.
more work.
Guys,
Yay.
enjoy Jen's book club. I'm out. This episode also brought to you by
Nick
B.
Hey, I got a Nick B fact.
Okay.
What?
And it's a real Nick B fact,
What?
Mikey. Nick B apparently uses the word stonking.
What?
Does anyone know what the word stonking means?
How do you know that's how you say it? Have you
Is
only
it
ever read that word?
stonking? I have only ever read
I believe the stonk brings the ugly babies to families.
Oh.
Hold on, I'm looking up stonking. Stonking, used to emphasize something remarkable, exciting, or very
it's a real
large.
word?
It's a real word.
Are you like on Urban Dictionary or something?
No, I just
Look up
went-
Golden
English.
Nugget.
She's
No.
she's in the Oxford English Dictionary. That's
Yes, I am.
because he's over in England or
I
whatever.
Check how you spell color.
Stonking is used to emphasize how good something is.
I've never ever
cheerio!
heard of that.
We had a stonking good time at the party last night.
Pip pip cheerio, mate.
Yeah,
Pip pip
throw
cheerio.
another shrimp on the barbie.
I want to apologize for.
Sorry, Nick B, and all of our UK listeners.
Yeah, that was horribly offensive for anyone who was UK or colonized by the UK.
Yeah, or lives in Australia.
This episode also brought to you by.
John.
I've got a
Hey.
fun John fact.
Oh yeah, let's
John.
spit some truth.
All right, so
love you.
John chews with his mouth open.
What?
Yeah.
That John
Yeah, so
is gross.
And there's like
What are you, 6?
noises and like food flies out, and I have it on
Ooh.
good authority that a child has gotten sick watching him eat.
Oh, like visibly like. Oh.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's a growing child.
What's
that
the
needs their
sound that
nutrients.
makes you throw up?
That
Is it-
sound. And I'm,
Johnny. That sound doesn't ever make me throw up.
Hey, thanks, Chris. Hey, and guys, we have an extra special shout out for this episode. One of our listeners, Veronica, just got married and she had some spooky decorations in the wedding. So I'm so excited for you, Veronica. Congratulations.
we are so
Yeah,
excited
wow.
for you.
Only me
Wow.
am excited about.
Wow. Wowie.
Yeah, Veronica, congratulations.
Yeah, it's
I
awesome.
am the most excited, but these guys are kind of excited too.
That's so not fair.
I think I'm just more in
I
love with
could
love.
I was
not be
in the
more
wedding.
Yeah.
Oh, were you?
Yeah. Mikey and I were both there.
We were ushers.
Were you
Yeah.
guys the ones lurking behind the fence? Weird.
No, we were
Where
at
is
the wedding. I gave the best man speech.
Did you?
Congratulations, Veronica.
Yes,
and really,
Veronica.
Name your baby after me.
wow.
Hi, do you hear that over there? It's theme music. Please come over here.
I said everything sucks and I hate everything. You know?
Welcome to the Horror Virgin, everybody.
No, that's my thing. No. Welcome to the Horror Virgin.
I don't need a man to start my podcast.
I can start a podcast 30% better.
That's not how any of this works, Mikey.
Ooh, welcome to the Horror Virgin, everybody.
Oh, my God.
Did we get
It is-
there?
Hey, will you say your name real quick?
Oh, fuck. Hey, my name is Jen.
I'm Mikey.
And I'm the Horror Virgin Todd, which means I don't love horror movies. In fact, I don't like them very much at all. And you guys make me watch them and then sort of make fun of me.
That's a cool premise. We should do a podcast.
I do think it's a great
I hate
idea.
that guy's
for a
voice, though.
premise.
So today you guys made me watch Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
No,
and it
today
was,
we let you watch Tucker
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, there are some, like, I don't even want to say scary moments in it because it really is just kills
Yeah.
that are sort of gross, like pretty graphic, but not bad. Like, they're
There's
not
really
bad.
no
They're not
scary
scary.
elements
Yeah,
to it,
it's really
yeah.
not scary at all. If you're affected by gore, this might not be good for you.
It's been a really long time since I've seen this movie, and I remembered enjoying it, but it's a horror comedy. And so my reasoning was, This is episode like 61.
62.
Oh, 62. Pardon.
Yeah.
You've seen enough movies now to start to kind of get some of these references.
Oh, yeah. I definitely think I've seen enough to understand it. And I know you're going to do the same thing with Cabin in the Woods. You didn't want me to see Cabin in the Woods until I'd seen a bunch of movies.
Yes, but
which
Cabin
is
in the
fine.
Woods has way more references. This one didn't really have as many as I remember.
I believe you and I trust your judgment, but I do think I've seen enough to understand this movie.
Like, to enjoy this
and
one.
really enjoy like the tropes they're playing with.
You said Harbinger.
Yeah.
Yeah, you recognize
I
that
said
even if
Harbinger.
it wasn't a creepy gas
Guys, be
station.
proud of me.
I know.
Okay.
I said Harbinger, and I think he was the Harbinger.
He was.
This is one of my favorite movies.
Is it?
I watched this movie when I have a sad day.
We were talking about this during the movie. You are 1,000% a Dale.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And
I
Todd
relate
and
to
Or
Tucker.
Tucker.
I relate to Dale so much.
Yeah. I'll say this, though. You're a lot prettier than Dale is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But we both have great
What?
eyes. But very pretty blue eyes.
Dale's
your eyes are brown.
My eyes are blue, and they're up here.
Oh, sorry.
You guys are just looking at my brown eye.
Bro.
They're blue, and they're up here on my face.
Ew.
Come on, Cyclops.
I can never look at Jen when I make a joke like that.
I know.
Yeah,
and I
thank
can't look
you.
at her for like 2 minutes after that either.
Face the scorn, Mikey.
Anyway, I put this in one of my top 10 because I can watch this movie over and over again and still enjoy it. And this movie always cheers me up on a bad day, and it's just nice. I like Dale, I like Tucker, I like the friendship. Love Dale's character. He has a good heart like me, and he's very sensitive, and I like that.
I liked it watching with you guys better than I liked it watching it by
Yeah,
myself.
because you watched Tucker and Dale with Tucker and Dale.
I mean, I basically did. I don't like it as.
Is it because it's a comedy you don't like it that much?
No,
Not only that, I don't really think there's a lot of strong female presence in this movie.
There really isn't. I don't think it's like an overly feminist movie, but I don't think it's like really misogynistic.
No, I think it could have been much, much worse.
No, I like it. I really like horror comedies a lot. Horror comedies are pretty much the only kind of comedies I like. So let's start
Let's
with
get
the
into this
first
movie,
scene
yeah.
of the movie.
The first 2 scenes of this movie are
Yeah,
great.
I honestly, because I saw the trailer for this for Patreon, I knew I'd love this movie because the trailer was very funny. And you sort of get the premise from the trailer, so I sort of understood what it was going to be.
And you were on board already because of Alan Tudyk.
Yeah, I love Alan
Is it
Tudyk
Tudyk?
so
Is
much.
that how you say it?
It is, yeah. He's Wash from Firefly and the
Yeah.
movie Serenity. He's amazing.
He was
Anyway.
also in a Frasier episode that I particularly enjoyed.
He's been in a lot of stuff.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He's great. He does the voices for a lot of characters too. Anyway, so the first 2 scenes are not great. I thought the movie was going to be so bad watching the first 2 scenes.
The first 2 scenes try to set it up like a stereotypical slasher film.
Yeah, I sort of understood that on some level, but they're just not done very well.
Yeah, I think that's what they're trying to do is set up like a slasher film. So
Yeah.
it opens up with like a news lady and she's doing a report on a thing. You don't really know what it is. And then she gets.
But Leslie Vernon's kind of the same way in that sense. It starts out with
Yeah.
a documentary.
But then it carries on like that's the setup of the movie.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think you needed the found footage thing at the beginning of
No,
this.
there are some funny parts in the first 2 scenes, like when Tucker and Dale drive by and they're just like looking at the. That's very funny. They're very funny. But that and the gas station scene, I don't love.
No, I love the gas
Oh, no,
station
I do.
scene.
I love the when they're outside of the gas
No,
station.
the parts I don't like are the new scene where like the people get murdered and it tries to make it like a horror film, and then
Yeah.
the kids in the car were just over the top annoying.
Yeah.
Well, so that's the next scene. And
Right.
I just wrote bunch of idiots in a college car.
Yeah, in a
And-
college car.
Because they're all, I don't know. All right, so the bunch of idiots in this car, they're about to go camping and they're all just being college-y, stereotypical
They're about to go
college
camping, but
kids.
they have 0 camping gear in the car. If they had that many people in the car, there would be a shitload of tents and bags and sleeping bags and food and all that shit.
I think the girl has it all in that giant purse. She
Yeah, and she
around.
carries it the whole fucking time, so that very well could be.
Yeah.
So it sets
It's
up
for
your
survival. you
Yeah,
know?
I get it.
it sets up your characters. You like these are all frat guys, and it's like a few of their
We
girls.
don't like them.
It's in West Virginia,
Born and raised.
and like Chad is the main frat guy, and he's
Yeah.
like, "We're in hillbilly country now, boys."
And he's a real Chad.
but us
Yeah.
betas are better, beta omegas or whatever.
Beta Omegas?
I don't remember
It's
beta
O'Rourke.
omega.
You're thinking of Beta O'Rourke.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Yelling
Hopefully
out
for Senate.
random Greek letters
Yeah.
for their frat, and then the girls are like, "This this is kind of weird."
Yeah, we're not a part of your frat, asshole.
But
Well, they
then,
can't be. They can be a part of their sorority. It's separate, Jen, but it's equal. So,
Is it? Never been equal is never truly equal.
oh wow,
listen, I never pledged anything. I don't know.
they realized that they didn't bring the beer, and they had to stop for gas.
Oh, my God.
So now they are at the redneck gas station. Pardon me, at the hillbilly gas station.
I love this scene.
I do too. I think it's real funny.
So you have Tucker talking to the hillbilly gas station owner.
And Tucker's Alan Tudyk.
Yes.
Yes.
Who's dreamy.
And they all have country accents. Now, I spent a lot of time in Mississippi, and this is kind of spot on.
I do want to point out that we all live in Nashville, and I've never heard anyone talk like they talk in this movie.
Yes.
Well, it's because Nashville's a city.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You drive 30 minutes outside of Nashville and you will start hearing that.
Well, it's like that everywhere. I lived in San Diego, and it was like that.
They talk like this in San Diego?
Actually, yes. San Diego County is huge, though. You have to get like 30 or 40 minutes outside of San Diego, the city. But yeah.
The two hillbillies are talking. So the college kids comes in, they just stare at them talking, and then like it's awkward, so they turn around and stare at the college kids. They're like, can I help you?
And then Dale is like weirdo staring at Siri like through the shelf goods.
Siri?
Sorry, I've called her Siri because she's Siri in 30 Rock.
What's her name in this movie?
Allison.
Allie.
Allie, yeah.
Allie, yeah. So Dale is weirdo staring at her. And I can understand, like, Tucker's looking at her real weird too. Just like the way when they pass her in the car, they're looking really menacingly. So if you don't know what this movie is going to be about, they do look like creepy rednecks.
Yeah,
you know?
sort of.
I think it's a cute scene where she like moves something and he's staring through the counter, and then he grabs the 6 pounds of pickled eggs.
Yeah.
And he's like, 6 pounder, and he just ends up buying it not to be super creepy.
I think he wanted it. He was eating them.
Yeah. It's a hillbilly meat cute.
It is kind of a hillbilly meet cute. So the best part about this scene is when they get outside, though.
Oh,
because
yeah, this
Dale's
is
just
sweet.
dumbstruck
Yes, this
and
is
like
the best.
mumbles the whole time inside. Then he gets outside and Tucker's like, and Dale's like, you ever seen anything like that?
I think
That
this is
woman
when we
beautiful."
realize that you're Dale and I'm Tucker.
And this is
Yeah.
when we did. Yeah. But this is also when you realize that they're not like creepy murderous rednecks.
Yeah.
Like, they're real sweet, funny guys. Because Tucker is
Thank
giving
you,
him
Jen. I appreciate that compliment.
Yeah, that's a compliment.
That was very sweet of you.
It is, yeah. You guys mean well. We just need to talk about this delivery. So Dale has a crush, and Tucker's giving him a pep talk, and it really reminded us all of the pep talk that Todd was giving to Mikey before we started recording about Mikey's love life.
Yeah.
And this is when we realized that Todd is Tucker and Mikey is Dale.
Yeah.
No, I relate to it because he doesn't just look across the gas station and see a beautiful woman.
No.
And he doesn't really objectify her. He's like, I just wish someone that smart would love me and nice looking and we would, have a life and blah, blah, blah. And I thought it was really sweet. But he's like, I'm just not good enough.
Yeah. That sounds a lot like something you'd say.
And it was confirmed when Dale said, "You're right, Tuck." And almost simultaneously, Mikey said, "You're right, Todd."
Yeah. Exactly. It was weird.
We also find out in the scene that they're going to the lake, this lake cabin, because they bought a vacation cabin together and they're going to fix it up, which is an important plot point.
Yes, it is. I thought it was just Tucker that bought the cabin. Did they both buy it?
I think it was Tucker that just bought the cabin.
I think so too.
But Dale was going with him to help.
Yeah.
Tucker's a really good friend,
Yeah, Tucker is a good friend.
Like,
but
he takes a lot of shit in this movie. He's
Yeah.
real supportive.
They do have a really sweet friendship.
They really do. It's sweet.
So Tucker's telling Dale, he's like, look, man, you could have a girl like that. You have a good heart.
Yeah, you do,
And
Mikey.
you're like a decent looking dude.
You are.
So just go over there and talk to her and just smile and laugh and be yourself.
Just be normal, Mikey.
But don't forget your gigantic sickle.
Yeah,
that's gonna
why
make
did
them
he
think
bring
you're
the
gonna murder
sickle?
them.
I don't understand that at all.
He had to have something to scratch his head with.
At first, I thought it was a hockey stick, and then I saw that it was like metal and sharp. I was like, "Oh, what is he doing?"
He like just Grim Reaper's over there to talk to
Grim
him.
Reapers is the right word to use.
He like wanders over and he's like, hey, sweet potato.
I don't think he says
Are you
that.
guys-
He goes, "You guys going camping?" And then Chad gets all up in his face.
And starts doing these weird claw things in his
Yeah,
face.
it looked like Carrie Ellis in Liar Liar with
Really
like
does.
doing the
You're
claw.
afraid of the claw.
Yeah, and he was not afraid.
Chad does the kung fu moves at Dale and he just wanders back over her to Tucker and he's like, I told you I wasn't meant to talk to people like
He
that.
said, "They hate my face."
Oh, that's right. Oh
Fun
man,
fact: I think that line was ad-libbed.
is that just a hunch?
I'm pretty sure I read it on IMDb.
The fun facts are ad-libbed.
Playing a little fast and loose with fun facts. Look, there aren't a lot of fun facts about this movie.
I
so
actually
gotta,
have read the book of this,
Have you?
and
Does he say that in the book?
yeah, he does actually say that in the book. So I'm
Yeah?
not sure that was ad
Except in the book, Tucker and the sheriff have an affair.
That is
Do
true.
they?
Yeah.
Ooh.
But Dale makes out with a shark.
Welcome back to Mikey and Todd Talk About Books.
Mikey and Todd make up books.
Oh, that's like writing.
Oh my God.
That's all Stephen King does, Jen.
Yeah, he
just a
makes
bunch of
up
make-em-ups.
I just calmed down. Don't start again.
So anyway, they get back in the truck and they drive to the
cabin.
The cabin. Thank
But
you.
they
Yeah.
get pulled over.
First, they get pulled over by a.
Oh, that's
by a
right,
cop,
because you were
yeah.
giving me head.
Well, yeah, Dale is. I don't know what's going on.
No,
here.
Oh,
They're
yeah,
trying
no.
to hide the beer.
Tucker's
That's it.
drinking a beer. The sheriff gets behind him, turns the lights on. He drops the beer on his lap.
Crotch, you can say it.
So Dale goes, I'm gonna get it. So he leans down. He's like, let me get on your arm.
And then he gets stuck.
So, Mikey, if I dropped a beer in my lap and the police are pulling us over, would you go get it?
No, I'd be like, you're fucked, bro.
Yeah. Be like, oh, shit, you're going to jail, dog. Yeah.
I'd be like, officer, he drank a beer. I told him not to. He's driving.
Well, so anyways, he's bending over into Tucker's lap, and his shirt or something gets caught. And
Yes.
somehow
Oh, yeah.
just
Oh,
rips
yeah.
his whole shirt off.
He comes up and his shirt comes off.
Because he couldn't get his sleeve. He's like, I'll get it off. I'll get it off. So he just takes his shirt off. So the officer walks up and he pops up from his lap shirtless.
And he says, we're just going up to my vacation home to fix it up and fish. And he says, Tucker says he's been striking out with the ladies and a little man time.
Yeah.
He's a
Doing
little
some
man
good.
time.
That's real funny.
And then Dale just laughs awkwardly.
And then warns them not. He's the harbinger. He warns them not
He
to go up
is.
to the
He's the
hills
harbinger.
because that's where.
Death and destruction.
That's the death and destruction.
Pain
Yeah.
and suffering.
Oh, excuse me.
Oh,
It's
right.
very different from death and destruction.
Yes.
Sorry about that.
I mean, I do like the alliteration there. They get to the cabin and it's real gross.
Yes, it is.
But Dale's like real enthusiastic like me.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, oh, is that broken down truck yours too? That's
Yeah.
awesome. It
He's
comes
like,
with the cabin?
Why didn't you paint the walls before we moved in here? It's all gray.
Well, yeah, it looks
He's
like
not nearly as judgmental about houses as you are.
Yeah, Mikey, you would have been all over that interior design.
not if it was like if you two bought the house, I would have been like overly enthusiastic about it.
Yeah.
Very
So
supportive
just
as a friend.
lying.
Well, support. Look,
But it's really support.
is a lie that just hasn't come true yet because he's trying to make the house really
That
nice.
is a t-shirt. Yeah.
So they go to the cabin. It looks like creepy murder cabin number 4. You know,
It's like a mansion.
and they go in.
He
and
does
there's
say
like,
that.
yeah. They go in and there's like skulls on the ceiling and all this other
Yeah,
stuff.
and, like, bones
Newspaper
hanging.
stuff stuck to the wall.
They must have been
Dale's like-
some kind of archaeologist.
Oh my
This
God.
guy's a real newspaper fiend, like a real news fiend.
Like 90 newspapers about like murdered teens, and then one like discount from the sub store with no expiration date. Not-
Look at this, Dale. It's Chester's Chili Dogs. Buy
right.
3, get 3. No expiration date.
And it's nailed to the wall.
Yeah.
Why?
That's a good coupon.
That's how you don't lose it.
Yeah.
And there's bones and stuff. And so Tucker.
You mean like on the walls and stuff?
Yeah. And so Tucker's leaning against a post and it almost breaks, and Dale saves him because this like
Does he
board
save
with a
him or does he mount him, Jen?
a little
saves
column
him.
A,
Yeah.
little column B, you know? I mean, it's like a mount cute, you know?
It's a hillbilly mount cute.
Mount Cute is my dating profile name.
And it's working for you?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he gets the dates. He just doesn't keep the dates.
I'm looking to settle down.
Looking to get past that first date?
Mikey, I've never met anyone with more commitment issues than you.
That can't be true.
You know so many people, Todd.
So anyways, Tucker knocks this thing over, and this board with a bunch of nails almost slams him in the face and kills him, and Dale
Yeah.
saves him.
He does.
And then just lays there for a little bit, like staring dreamily into
It
his
is
eyes.
sort
he
of
says,
romantic.
we should probably fix that. And he's like, yeah, get off me.
Yeah, get off me so I can.
But they don't fix it.
No, they don't.
Foreshadowing.
They should
Yeah,
have. Yeah,
it's board shadowing, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
This board's going to come back and get somebody. So now we have the camping assholes.
You mean the
Dickhead-
college kids?
College
Yeah.
kid.
Yeah.
Who wants to hear a scary story?
Yeah, dickhead Chad's like, let me tell you, 20 years ago today,
At this very lake.
that I invited you guys to for not nefarious reasons at all.
Flashback, 20 years.
To pump up the jam playing. I love that song.
Pump up the
I
jam.
bump it up.
It's a good song. And then they changed it to some hillbilly.
Yeah, a hillbilly changes the cassette tape.
And some guy.
That's not hillbilly. That's Benny Hill.
But that does fit because
It sorta
the hillbillies
does.
start murdering everyone and
Yeah.
chasing them. And then they flash forward again and they're camping and they're like, and
These
that's-
two kills are pretty brutal too. I'm sorry to cut you off. They're pretty brutal. Like
Yeah,
the,
they are.
The saw
Throw
blade
some
through the
kind of,
head.
like circular saw blade.
It's like a circular saw blade, and then stab with the machete through the neck. Yeah, it's pretty gross.
And he says, and only one person lived, and the bodies are buried beneath us. Yarr!
Is Chad a pirate now?
they're going to pirate college.
That's right. Pirate you. That's not funny.
We don't joke about the you.
And so some idiot runs up and says, who wants to go skinny dipping? Spring break. Woo!
Yeah, and didn't he have a toilet paper in his hand?
Yeah, because he was shitting.
But who comes back from shitting thinking that everyone should take their clothes off and get in the water?
I do because like if the toilet paper didn't get it all off, you definitely need to dip in the water
Exactly.
to get clean.
Maybe he got a little on his clothes and he doesn't have to wear the stinky clothes.
Or he's like a George Costanza. He just feels really self-conscious about he just
So he
pooped.
takes all of his clothes off when he has
Oh
to
my
poop
God.
and he
He
forgot
really
to put them back
needs- he
on.
really-
So he
to
was
feel
completely
clean.
naked, taking a Duke in the woods, comes back. He's like, you know what? We should all take our clothes off and get in the water.
Most of the group goes to skinny dip.
Yeah,
and
almost all of them.
the
No,
main
Tucker
girl-
and Dale are fishing now.
Yeah, Tucker and Dale go fishing at night because
Well, he meant the college group. Yeah.
Yeah.
the college group goes skinny dipping. The main chick, Allie, is up by the car getting her something.
I think she might be getting a change of clothes or something.
Yeah.
It's not really
Whatever.
discussed. It
Chad
doesn't matter.
corners her at the car and he's
Scares
like,
her through the window.
Yeah, with an axe.
he's got a hatchet, not an
Yup.
axe.
Oh, excuse me.
So he walks up to her, and this is like the best pickup line he's got. He's like, "Hey, you can drop the act," and she's like, "What are you talking
Oh,
about?"
yeah. I didn't even understand this at all.
She's
Yeah.
like, "What are you
Hey,
talking about?" He's like,
He's an asshole. That's
Yeah,
what
that's
it's
true.
about.
You're right.
"What act can I drop?" And he's like, "Thinking you're better than everybody else." And he's like, "But it's true."
I get
And
it.
like that's his pickup line.
You and
You
I are
are
both
better.
better than everyone. That's
yeah,
why
we're
we
cut
make the
from a
perfect
different
couple.
cloth.
Did you guys notice that Chad's collar gets more and more progressively popped throughout the movie?
No, does it really?
Yeah. So like it starts out with the corners of it, like the sides of it are down, but the back is up. But by the end of the movie, it is like double popped. His
Yeah.
collar grows a collar.
Oh man.
Perfect pop, if you will.
So he's cornered her. He tries to kiss her, and she's like, "No, I'm cool."
No,
thanks."
he does kiss her.
Yeah,
He
and she's like,
does.
no, I'm
She
cool.
says
thanks."
to stop.
Yeah.
And he says, why? We're perfect for each other. And I just wrote, I hate him.
Yeah. And then he licks her neck.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
gross.
but Mikey, that's when a girl tells you to not kiss her. The next move is lick her neck.
Yeah, no means lick my neck.
Yeah.
Hey, ladies,
Right?
I'm just kidding. And gentlemen, I'm just kidding too. When no means no, stop. And ladies, if you're dating a guy like Chad, dump him.
Hey, I
also,
got-
you should listen to the Cult Podcast episodes about incels because they talk a lot about Chads.
They were great, actually.
Another
Yeah.
point.
Yeah. Both of them.
Even
Yeah.
if she says yes, just licking her neck like you're licking an envelope.
Nobody wants you to lick their necks.
Counterpoint. Lick a neck.
Don't do it. It's gross.
There isn't a appropriate amount of neck licking. I mean, I can work a neck.
I've
okay?
kissed a neck.
I can work, but like you're
I'm
not gonna
sorry.
go.
I've never heard someone say I can work a neck outside of like a
Like that porn book you read about dropping loads.
Top of the load.
dropping loads.
But this man literally licks her from the collarbone
Yeah.
to her ear.
Yeah. Listen, whatever gets you there, do it. I honestly think she handles the situation a lot nicer than she has to.
I think so, too.
But she does handle it well. She sets a boundary and then walks away. Mm-hmm. And then mountain climbs to the top of a rock to take her clothes off.
Yes.
Which did not make any sense to me.
No, it
If
did.
I was this good looking, I definitely would climb very high rocks every time
You'd
I
make
took my
Rafiki
clothes
pick
off.
you up?
Yeah, yeah.
Ha! The vineyards, skinny dip me.
Look around, Mikey. All this is yours.
Make a tape, Mikey.
Well, so what we didn't mention is that Tucker and Dale are fishing.
Yes, they
in a
are
canoe,
fishing. Yeah.
like kind of close to the lake that all these college kids are going skinny dipping in, and they're arguing about the last can of PBR, and it's really sweet.
Yeah.
Kind of friendly. He's like, you just got to stand up for yourself and just take that last can of PBR if you want it. And then so Dale tries to take it, and Tucker said, no, just kidding, hey.
It's mine. Get away from it.
Right.
Yeah.
I get kind of like an older brother, younger brother like.
I can see that,
relationship with
although
him.
they don't seem like they're siblings,
No,
but
I
they
don't
do
think
have
they're
that sort of
actually
vibe.
related.
Yeah, absolutely.
Feels like they've grown up together, but
They
like
have. Well,
Tucker
they mentioned
is
that.
like the older one, the more like more grown up-iest of the ones.
Yeah.
Anyways, so
grown
they
up-iest is the right way to say
I think
that.
so too. Yeah. So Siri's on the mountaintop stripping. She doesn't
Allie.
go.
We got to call her Allie.
Yeah, I don't know who the fuck Siri is.
Allie's her name. And that's how I like to refer to women, Jen.
By their name, not the name you
classy,
wish they
right?
had.
She's very good looking.
She is very good looking.
And then Tucker
she
and
is
Dale.
as good looking as she is bad at acting.
She's not
terrible.
terrible. but
Yeah, she's not.
great.
If you've ever seen 30 Rock, she's
Yeah.
the pretty girl in the writer's room at
And her
30
name is
Rock.
Siri, and that's why I keep calling her Siri.
But she's not great in that, and they sort of make jokes about how she's not a great actress in that show. It's a great show.
It really is.
Tina Fey is an amazing writer.
Tucker notices that they're starting to skinny dip. All the
Yes.
He's like, we should go check out these college
If I
kids.
know, yeah,
So they paddle the boat closer. She's on the rock.
Yeah,
Dale covers his eyes with
'Cause
his
he's a
face.
gentleman.
Because he's a gentleman.
he
like
is.
me.
Mikey, you to sneak to peek.
well, I think he's covering his eyes, but like leaving a
Yeah,
little crack.
he's covering his
between
eyes, but
them.
he's sneaking a peek at the Twin Peaks.
Everybody
She,
sneaks
and
a peek.
she still has a bra and underwear on.
Yeah, honestly, this is why I think this movie doesn't objectify women as badly as it could have, because the other chick, who they even say she's wearing like stripper heels or whatever at one point, I'm not sure if she is naked. She looks like she might be, but the camera shot of that is like really far away. You can't really see anything.
Yeah, I think her character is a little more stereotypical than it really is objectifying.
Yeah, absolutely.
I
But I mean,
really
they
didn't
could have
have a
really,
problem with
yeah,
it.
they really could have hammed up this skinny dipping scene. But yeah, it's not.
Tucker and Dale get into an argument because he doesn't want to go watch the girl.
Yeah, because he's a gentleman.
Right.
Yeah.
She's climbing down, notices they're watching her arguing. Then she slips and falls and hits her head on a rock. And he's like, great, Tucker. Now she's fallen and we've creeped her out more.
Yeah, at this point, they don't realize that she's passed, or she's knocked herself out.
Yeah, but then they realize that she hasn't come up.
They do quickly realize
so they
that.
go to see if she's okay.
And Dale jumps out and saves her.
Because he's a hero like a me.
Not immediately. They paddle over there, which bothered me a little bit. Like, if someone's underwater and you think they might be passed out, don't take the time to paddle over
They
there.
paddled
You might
pretty
hit him with a
quickly.
boat.
He's not a great swimmer
Well, he's buoyant.
like me.
All right, so they start to pull her into the boat, and she has been knocked out. And so all of the other idiot college kids see that and think that they're trying to capture her.
I loved this scene.
I did
I
too.
thought it was
Tucker
so
stands up
funny.
and he's like, hey, we got your friend.
Yeah, I love that.
And this is the beginning of them reading everything Tucker and Dale do the wrong way.
Yes.
So the college kids are like, oh my God, they took her. And they all run
away.
screaming.
Yeah.
Yes.
They run into the water, run back to the campsite, and Chad's over there chadding it up with his collar. And they're like,
The hillbillies took Allie.
The next thing we see is Allie waking up in the cabin with a bandage on her head, and Tucker coming in to bring her breakfast, and it's just shot real sinister looking.
yeah, well, because he comes out of like a back room, which is, I'm sure, just the kitchen.
It looks like there's like smoke coming
Yeah,
out.
there's like real smoky or whatever, which can happen if you're making stuff in the kitchen, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, he comes out and there's like fog coming into the room, and he's walking in with this like tray, and then she just starts screaming. He goes, pancakes! You don't like pancakes? I'll make something else. I'm sorry.
And he runs away.
Yeah,
He's like,
he
I'm so
does.
sorry. I can't believe I'm so stupid to make you pancakes.
Mikey.
Pancakes are good.
Pancakes are the inferior cousin of the waffle.
Well, yeah.
So anyways, he goes back in with he makes bacon and eggs, comes back in, there's flowers on the breakfast and
Yeah,
brunch
he's
tray.
real sweet. Honestly,
really
I think he might be trying a little too hard.
We all do.
Coming off a little strong. Chill out a little bit.
Did you guys notice that when she took the bandage off her head, there was like no blood in her hair? It was just like the bandage was bloody, and then she took it off and it was fine.
Because Dale definitely like washed her hair and cleaned all the blood out.
And she was not wearing her clothes.
Well, she was in her underwear when they found her. So
That's true.
They put her in hillbilly clothing.
Yes, which
They put her
apparently
in-
means you can't zip up your pants. I don't understand those pants or how they stayed up.
Yeah, that was an outfit intended to look like you're wearing clothes that are 5 sizes too large with clothes that were clearly not 5 sizes too large. It drove me crazy.
So Dale's like explains to her that she fell and they saved her and
Yeah.
like I made you breakfast.
And we told your friends they should be here soon to come get you.
And he's very nervous and stumbling, and he is trying too hard, and he can't complete a sentence. He's like, "We brung you here because you were unconscious."
Yeah, and just wait for your friends. And so she starts looking around and seeing what kind of board games they can play. Meanwhile, back at the assholes camp, they're talking about how Tucker and Dale have stolen her and are like holding her captive. Or maybe one of them was eating her face
I forget the name of that character who says that, but he's like, I don't know, it was dark, but I'm pretty sure one of them was eating their face. It's ridiculous.
And then the other one says, don't you think we need the police? She's like, but if her face is eaten, it doesn't matter. So Scott takes the car.
No, you make a good point. They're dumb college kids. They were like, maybe we should call the police. They're like, one kid's like, I'll just go get the police since it's my dad's car and I'm the one who can drive it. So he drives off.
Yeah, he just
like
leaves.
with glee in his heart. But
Oh,
now
yeah.
he's out of the situation.
He's like, I'm never coming back here.
And then he face
But he
plants
does.
on the way to the car, doesn't he?
Yeah, he runs to the car and falls on his way to the car. It's ridiculous.
I would have gone with him if I was in the college kids.
Yes.
Because they're like, the rest of them were like, let's go get her. And the other guy's like, let's get the police.
And there's one of these girls, and I think it's the one who says, well, if her face has been eaten, it doesn't matter if we get the police or not. She makes a lot of good points in this movie, and I like
She
her.
does. I call her weed whacker face. She's the one who gets weed whacked in the face.
Spoiler alert. Not
Oh
that
yeah,
we-
he's really sweet to her, and he's like, if you don't like bacon and eggs and bacon, I don't know what else we can do. And then he's like, I'm gonna go help Tucker outside. She's like, well, do you know what we can do while we wait for my friends? He's like, we got a bunch of board games. Got my favorite game, and she's like, what's that?
Trivia, dog.
residential trivia. Woo!
He loves trivia.
Yeah.
All right. So meanwhile, the idiot friends are
I
outside.
also love trivia.
Yeah.
I do too.
Yeah.
You're a Dale
Trivial
for sure.
Pursuit. So the idiot friends are out there deciding who's going to go in the house, and this is one of my favorite parts of the movie because Tucker's outside using the chainsaw.
Like things at this point in the movie are very much, they could be explained away. Everyone has a good laugh.
Yeah.
Part is friends, right? But this is where shit hits the fan.
Yeah, because some guy
It's
who's wearing
so
a gas
good.
station shirt like he's in a Weezer video walks up to him, and Tucker's like rearing his chainsaw up and he's cutting through a log, and we see on the inside that there's a giant bee's nest there.
And Tucker's mad because he looks in the window and sees Dale and
Yeah, he's
Allie
flirting
playing
with Allie.
He's like, oh, okay, thanks for helping, Romeo.
Honestly, if that was me and you, I'd be like, you can get it, Mikey.
Well, he made a joke and then he
You
went
can
to
get
do
it.
his work. Yeah, but then he sawed through the beehive.
Saw through the bees, and the bees swarm up, and so he straight out of Texas Chainsaw Massacre like runs around with his chainsaw just flailing all over the
and then
place.
yelling at the top of his lungs.
Right, and
Well,
so
yeah.
Weezer guy sees this and thinks that he's chasing them, so they all start
What?
running
He
through
goes,
the woods. in the same
everybody
direction.
run!
In all fairness, like he is running behind him with a
He is.
chainsaw.
And-
That would be terrifying.
Oh yeah, and at a certain point they're running together, and so idiot Weezer guy
Well,
should see that he's not trying to
No,
get
I
him with
think
a
he
chainsaw.
does. So I think that he realizes what's happening, and then he runs into the log that kills him because
He's impaled on it.
because Alan Tudyk or Tucker is running past him, like he's literally run past him, and the guy who thinks he's being chased is like, wait. He's not chasing
you
me.
trying to
Like trunk into the chest right then.
Yes, he runs
Yeah.
straight into a sharp limb that's poking up and impales himself through his stomach.
Yeah, and then a bee lands on his nose.
And that's when he's like, oh,
I'm fucked, man.
died for nothing.
What's the bees? But yeah, this is the first death of the movie.
It is. And at this point, this is where you can't explain it away. It is college versus hillbilly showdown,
Tucker and Dale versus evil.
you might say, Mikey.
Some would say. All right, so now Dale and Allie are playing president cards or something. It's like
No, trivia.
trivia.
It's just regular trivia.
It's just regular trivia. President cards? I've never heard of a game called President Cards.
So now they're just getting along really well, and they're talking about how Dale didn't get past third grade, but he's still real nice and how intellectual.
Intelligence
He has a
nothing
learning
to do with-
disability.
Is that what it is?
Yes,
Are
like
you
me.
projecting yourself
Oh
onto
my.
Dale?
Yeah. If I've learned anything from Jen, it's that you should not project yourself onto movies.
Right.
This
A
is
movie
my
is a
projection
movie.
movie. Y'all let me gin this movie all up, okay?
Oh yeah.
So Dale has a learning disability, but he's really, really good at trivia. And she's like, why didn't you go to college? You're super smart. And he's like, I was never good at school and I had to drop out.
All right, so now Allie is talking about how she's getting her bachelor's degree in psychology.
Yeah. What are you gonna do
you're
with
just
that?
Studying psychology.
That's my bachelor's.
I mean, I honestly.
You and your fancy big college learning.
I had to listen to YouTube be like, psychology degrees, those are for losers. And I was
But
like, yeah, okay.
Jen got real mad when he was like, "So what are you studying?" And the way she answered was,
Bachelor of psychology. Just say psychology.
But just you can answer it
Because
that
you don't
way.
say I'm getting my bachelor. Like if you're
Well,
in
because-
college, it's assumed that you're getting your bachelor's
No, it's
unless
not
you say you're
necessarily.
getting your master's or your doctorate.
Jen is like a college snob, apparently.
No, I just didn't like the way she said that. Stupid. She said it like a college snob. Just bugged me. Man.
Yeah, so she's so stuck up getting her psychology degree. He's like, what do you want to do with it? She's like, I really want to help people and be a therapist. What a bitch.
Yeah, she's the worst, Jen, right?
What even are therapists?
Oh
Becky?
my God. It's what you go to once a week and has been helping a lot.
It really has, yeah.
And I know this because I went a lot and it helped me a lot.
Tucker comes back with his bee stings all over his face, and I love this. He just pours beer all over his face.
Which is not the only time he does this in the movie. He does it a few times. Yeah.
And that was Alan Tudyk's idea to do that.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I love Alan
This is one of the funniest jokes in the movie because he goes, Dale's like, Tucker, what happened? You got bee stings all over. He's like, I sawed through a beehive. And Dale's like,
Why'd you do that?
why would you do that?
Yeah. And then Dale is so sweet. He volunteers to go pull all the stingers out and make him feel better.
Well, Tucker's very frustrated. He's like, I wouldn't have happened if you were outside helping me and not flirting with this college girl. And she's like, I'm sorry. And Dale's like, no, it's my fault, not your fault. He's very sweet about it.
But it's also clear that Tucker's like just had a bad day.
Yeah.
He doesn't hate either of them. And he does sort of calm down. Yeah.
He's just frustrated. After he pours the beer all over himself, Dale's like, you want me to come pull those stingers out and I'll help you outside?
That'd be nice. Thank you.
It is really sweet.
Yeah.
And so they're talking about how they saw her friends out there. And so they go out to look for the friends who are going to come get Allie. And he keeps saying, no, you need to rest. Don't go outside.
Yeah, now that Dale's got an end, he's like, no, stay here. We'll go find him.
Yeah.
And Tucker's like, I did see one of your friends, but he ran like a bat out of hell. He must have been allergic to bees.
That's right, because Tucker has no idea that guy died.
Right.
That Weezer shirt is dead. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, and so now the college kids find Weezer's body, but Chad throws an axe out of rage or something.
He says, like, we got to kill him.
Yeah. And then they see Tucker and Dale coming and they hide. And they hear Tucker and Dale saying they'll finish her off. And they just start yelling, college kids.
Oh, yeah, they're trying to find her. College kids, we got your friend. We got your friend, college kids.
So they got to leave a note for him. And
then they carve a note into a log.
And it said, we got you are friend.
Yeah. I thought it was funny because the college kids could see them this whole time.
Yeah.
And how long would it have taken to carve that into that log?
A long time.
Like 45 minutes? They're staring there waiting for them to finish. So for like 45 minutes, these college kids are watching him carve into this log, I got your friend.
Yeah, they can't wait to see what he carved. And so once they finally walk off, they're like,
well, it's just like when you're watching an ice sculpture.
So now we see Woody the wood chipper.
Oh, man.
And so Allie comes out to help Dale, who says in like 9,000 different sentences,
I'm digging a shitbox hole face. Yeah.
He's going to finger face fuck that shit hole.
Whoa. That escalated quickly. Guys, and listen, I am not one to kink shame, Jen, so you do whatever you got to do. I'm just saying,
Gross.
Wash your hands when you're done.
Yep. Just always wash your hands.
In general, it's a good rule of thumb.
I don't watch your hands.
Whoa, I see what you did there.
So she comes out. She's got her hot hillbilly stuff.
You mean clothes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's like, I grew up on a farm. It was either work or get out. So she's
That's
like,
a
I'll
good
help
motto.
you dig this shitter.
So she starts like chopping the ground.
Yeah, she's using a pickaxe, like the backside of a pickaxe, to like loosen up the ground, and he's shoveling it out.
Yeah.
And they're bonding.
Yeah, and it is sweet. And that's when I start to think, if she grew up on a farm, maybe they can make it work, you know? So the friends are watching off in the distance, and they think that they're making her dig her own grave.
Yeah.
Which is
So
really
funny.
Oh, man, that shit was hilarious.
It really was. And so they split up to
And they all
try to
get
attack
weapons.
them. They do, yeah. One gets a gigantic toothpick, also known as a spear.
It's a spear, you jackasses.
pardon me.
It's a spear.
I don't know what that's a reference for, but if you
I think it
remember
was-
the
I think it is Hills High Five.
There's no way to know. One of the friends is running toward them with a spear, and Dale accidentally knocks Allie out with a shovel, and then college kid falls into the pit on top of the spear and just slowly
I think he meant toothpick.
down.
But yeah.
Oh,
so
pardon
it goes all the way through him, but Dale's underneath him. Yeah.
And he's crying. And he has tears coming down his eyes.
And
It's
I would be
awesome.
too.
Tears
It would
and
be
blood.
terrifying.
Yeah.
College blood. And the other friend, so Tucker is standing in front of the mouth of the wood chipper, and the other friend is just gonna like bum rush him, I guess, and like push him.
He has like
into
a
the wood
pocket
chipper.
knife in his hand or something. It was a
Yeah.
very small knife. I'm not sure it was
It's
pocket
not a
knife.
very well thought through plan because
No.
Tucker, just like a normal person, moves out of the way, and college kid
Oh,
just
no,
jumps
not even.
face first
He goes
into
to
it.
pick up a log.
I don't
and
think Tucker even saw him. I think
No,
the guy
he didn't.
trips. Yeah.
the college
Yeah.
kid trips and falls into the wood chipper.
Head first. It is gross.
And it's hilarious because Tucker's trying to pull him out.
Trying to save him. Trying to help him.
And then once it like clogs walks up to Chipper and says, "You okay?"
Well, that's when he finally turns it off. You okay?
It's really funny.
Alan Tudyk is so good, man. I love him.
Really
Yeah.
is. Every time, he's my favorite part of this movie.
Me too.
So now they're talking in the cabin. Allie's gotten knocked out again.
Well, yeah, because in the fray with the toothpick, trying to save her life, right? Because didn't Dale think he was trying to...
Dale turned real quick and just knocked her.
That's what it was. That's what it
hit
was.
with the shovel.
But she's knocked out again.
But it wasn't on purpose. Like,
No.
Yeah.
So he carries her inside, puts her in the bed again, and he's like, "Oh my god!" And then and he's got blood on him.
Yeah, he says, "No, it's college kid blood." And this is my favorite part of the movie because they're trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
And Tucker's
Oh
like,
my God,
"I
this
think
was
It
hilarious.
must be some kind of suicide pact."
Well, that's the only thing that makes sense.
No, kids are coming out and killing themselves all over the woods.
Oh my
They're both
God.
just crying, covered
Yeah.
in
I
blood.
know. It's hilarious. And it's like, that makes so much sense. And then they talk
love
about
that
whether
line.
they should go to the police or not. And Tucker says, like, dude, they're going to think that we killed all these people.
Yeah.
We're covered in their blood. So,
Yeah.
So they decide not to go to the police. And now we go back to the kids and Chloe, she's the stripper heels one.
And you would think she would have better running shoes than that big ass purse she's carrying around.
Yeah.
It's not Hermione's purse, is all I'm saying.
But so the truck is gone and they're trying to figure out what's going on.
Well, the truck is gone because that kid took it.
Scott left.
Yeah,
it.
Scott's
And
his
nobody
name.
else went there. Yeah.
Well, he went to go get the cops and does.
And I just wrote, Chad's an asshole.
I don't remember what he says. I know he says something bad, but what does he say?
You guys are so lucky to be able to be in this woods. And
Yeah.
like, he's really excited
He's
by
super
all
pumped that he gets to
That's
kill somebody.
Right. That's when we learn
Yeah.
that Chad is not right.
No, I mean, we sort of already
Well,
knew
we
he wasn't
knew it, but
right,
like
but
now
We
yeah,
he's
learned
like-
that Chad is an asshole.
that he's like a baby American psycho.
Oh, he's like, I can't
Yeah.
wait to murder these people. So Chad was like, we don't need the police. We just need to murder these guys ourselves.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
There are no rules out here. You can do whatever you want. So
Which
he
is
just
true.
wants to kill somebody.
There are no rules in the woods, apparently.
No, I
That's
mean,
not true. All the rules still apply.
Yeah,
Oh, my
we're
bad.
still in America.
My bad.
Okay.
Yeah. So now they do hear the cops coming, and Scott has found that cop that pulled them over from the
Yeah,
very
Scott
beginning.
is the only competent person in this movie.
Well,
He doesn't know about gun safety.
And he's just a good example of why you shouldn't handle a gun if you're not trained
Exactly.
to use a gun.
yeah. So Scott has found the cops, and everybody but Chad gets in the backseat of the cop car because
Right.
Chad just wants to kill somebody.
Yeah, Chad runs off with the hatchet into the woods.
Right. This is when they're trying to pull the kid.
Oh my
out of the
God!
wood
Yeah, I
chipper.
love this scene because it's Tucker and Dale trying to pull the guy out of Mr. Woody or Chippy or whatever, and Mr. Woody is
Woody
not
the
right.
chipper.
The wood
Woody
chipper.
the chipper, yeah, Mr. Woody is very different. And they pull him out, and like when it falls into Dale, and then Tucker pulls the body, like the disembodied body, over Dale's face.
Oh yeah, because
So
it's
gross.
really gross.
It is
too.
really
It's
gross.
like the body is like sharpened, kind of like a pencil, a little bit. It's just, so now Dale is covered in this kid's blood.
Yeah,
too.
and then they're carrying it, and Tucker's like, he should be less heavy for half a dude, or whatever.
That's funny. And so
But they're pulling him by their legs, and the cop pulls up.
and one of them just drops the leg.
Tucker does.
drops the leg.
Yeah, Dale doesn't until much later, and he goes,
says,
when the cops go, like, show me the girl, where is she at? And he goes, I'm gonna put this leg down.
Oh, we've just had a doozy of a day.
It references the scene earlier when he's like, well, why don't we call the cops? And Tucker's like, what are we gonna tell them? We just had a doozy of a day, and there are people kill themselves all over our property. And then that's exactly what he tells the sheriff.
He says Allison can explain.
Yeah.
If I hadn't knocked her out with a shovel.
And that's when Tucker like
She's in my
hits
bed.
him.
She's in my bed.
Oh God, yeah. That's when
funny.
Tucker's like,
So
"Oh my
funny.
God, shut up, Dale,"
You're right.
which is something you
Winky
would do,
blinky.
Mikey.
Yes, I know.
Make
Yeah.
a bad situation
You're
worse.
overly honest when you shouldn't be.
I am overly honest.
I know.
All right, so now the cop goes into the cabin, and the kids in the back of the seat or the car are just like freaking out.
Yeah,
Don't go
you
in there,
never
don't
go
go
in
in
the
there.
cabin.
Right, yeah.
He didn't call for backup. The first thing you would do if you walk up on two guys carrying torso down,
half a body.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you would definitely call for backup.
Yeah. Now, to be fair, I think he's the only cop in this whole.
That may be
That could, though, because he tries to radio for backup.
when he goes full Hellraiser. That's a reference.
reference.
Nice.
Yeah, there you
Ty.
go.
I honestly have never seen that movie either.
Well, we're gonna watch it.
You're really good at faking it.
I am really good at faking it. How you doing? That's yogurt. All right, so
Gross. Ugh. All right. So now the cops go into the cabin. And I think the cop kind of understand, like he's kind of on their side. He knows they're not like really bad people now. And he said, I told you guys to stay away from this place. And he leans against that board. And this is when the board shadowing fulfills its purpose. And the board falls down.
Kills the harbinger.
The cop. Yeah, kills the harbinger. Yeah. By nailing him right in the face.
I do love that he starts walking back to his Jeep. Or station wagon, as you would call it, Jen.
Yes.
If you want to reference the Scream episode for that callback. And then he, like, even
How I
Dale
was
or
right
Tuckle's
that
like,
time.
how is he walking right now? Yeah.
No, they're like, he's gonna make it. He's gonna walk it off. He's got nails through his
Oh,
head.
yeah, that's
He's gonna
Tucker.
do it. He's gonna be fine.
walk it off.
He's
He's
gonna
gonna
walk
be
it
fine.
off.
Yeah. And so the kids see this and they're all freaking
Yeah, because he
out.
walks all the way back to the car, grabs the walkie-talkie, and then dies.
Yeah.
So he dies right outside the Jeep.
And Scott sees it.
Station wagon,
Station wagon.
as you would say.
I think it was a Jeep.
Everyone listen to the Scream episode and decide for yourself. Or just watch the movie Scream because it's great.
So Scott grabs the gun
Yes.
from cop who got nailed in the face. And
He tries to shoot him and it goes click.
click.
Yeah, well,
And then
they
Dale-
both raise their hands. Tucker and Dale raise their hands like they're like freeze or whatever.
Like,
And then
okay.
Dale, who is overly honest, Mikey, says, "Oh, you got to get the safety on the side." So he
Yeah.
fiddles with the safety. Scott does, and then he blows his fucking face off.
He turns the gun around to turn the safety, and then he kills himself.
Yeah,
accidentally.
shoots himself in the head.
And then everybody starts yelling and running.
Yeah.
And so then they go inside and they're like on the ground. Oh, because Chad.
Yeah,
evil
Chad comes over,
runs out of
grabs the
woods,
gun, and
grabs
starts
the gun
shooting at him.
Firing.
Yeah, so Tucker and Dale bone back into the shack.
Into the cabin.
Yeah.
And they're laying on the floor, and this is where they're having their heart to heart, the first of their heart to heart.
Oh my God.
But they're mad because they're blaming it on each other.
Yeah. But their rolling around on the floor is hilarious
It really
because
is.
they never use their arms. They just roll around but don't use their arms at all. It is hilarious. I don't know if that was like a directed thing or they were just like, it'd be funny if we didn't use our arms. It was really funny.
It was really funny.
love this movie.
And this is when Dale reveals that he doesn't even like fishing.
Oh, no, because Tucker goes, Dale, this is all your fault for trying to rescue that college
For
girl.
being a good Samaritan.
And he's like, it's not my fault. Don't blame it on her. And he's like, I'm blaming it on you. And he's like, well, we didn't have to go fishing. I don't even like fishing. He's like, that's not even an option.
Yeah, like you had to go fishing.
Yeah. What do you mean you don't like fishing?
I don't like fishing either. I
I'm
get
sorry I hurt your feelings. And there's like gunfire going all
Did
around.
hurt Tucker's feelings a little bit. All right, and now Chad's got the dog.
it. Yeah, he's holding a gun to a dog's fucking face.
And he's like, don't you kill my dog.
Oh, and so
You
now
kill my dog, I'm gonna get real mad.
Real mad. He's like crying.
Yeah, he's
like,
crying out of the
I'm
window.
So mad.
so they hatched this nail gun plan.
It's not a bad plan.
It's not. It works.
Well-
and so Dale is shooting the nail gun, and once he figures out how to nail gun shoot, he just like
Oh yeah, he
shoots
busts out the
those-
window and just goes ham all over that Jeep. It's a Jeep, Jen.
It's a Jeep. So Tucker sneaks out back, and then Dale is shooting the nail gun, yelling. He's like, "I will get you, college kids!" Pow, 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 pow.
Yeah. Tucker does save Jengers.
He does.
Another sweet moment with Dale before Tucker sneaks out. He's like, "Tucker, I've never shot anything before."
And then he almost blows his face off with a nail gun just on accident.
I do love how Tucker's like before he leaves, Dale, just do me a favor. Don't shoot me. I'll try.
All right, so now they see Tucker and they chase him with an axe, and Tucker falls down in the mud and he tries to camouflage himself like in Predator behind this log, but he's not that good at hiding.
No, he's not.
And so they find him almost immediately, and evil Chad punches him in the face. And then we wake up, and he's just swinging back and forth upside down in front of the camera.
Yeah, they're talking about
Tucker.
setting traps and stuff.
I know.
Well, yeah, they're going to use him as bait.
And asshole Chad is like, I've never been this close to pure evil before. Except he says it in his city asshole Chad
Yeah, and
voice.
Tucker's like, "I had 24-hour protection."
And then he says, if you just let me go, I'll give you, I got like 8 to 10 beers.
I think it's, yeah.
You can have them all. It's really sweet.
I don't think Tucker understands the stakes. What's
think
going
so
on here?
either.
Yeah. Well, I don't think that Tucker and Dale know that the first kid died. I
Yeah.
think and that's why they think they're just in that suicide pact.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh, poor Tucker. And then they chop Tucker. And it's unclear what they
You don't
chop.
quite see what it is yet.
Yeah.
They're saving that for a reveal in an upcoming scene.
They are, yeah. And so now Allie wakes up with Dale and they're talking about what happened. And Dale starts crying.
Yeah, because Dale's a real sensitive sap.
Well, yeah, she wakes up and she's like, "Dale, what happened?" And he's like, "You hit your head again." But then, and then she's like,
Again.
"Whose blood is that?" He's like, "Your college friends." And he starts crying. He's trying to explain it. He starts crying. I like this moment because I've had many moments like this where I've had to explain
cried.
very complicated situations to women and also be in tears during it. And it's like,
It's amazing that you don't really get past the first date much.
So the ladies out there,
Mikey is single, ladies.
no, I mean, there's probably some listeners who's been in this situation where they've heard me cry, and I appreciate you. Thanks for listening to my problems.
Aw.
Over pizza. Yeah.
Oh my God. So true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he's saying, your friends are trying to kill me, and now they're trying to kill my dog. And she said, no, I'm sure it's a misunderstanding. And then they hear a knock at the door and die, hillbilly.
I love that part. It's like the perfect timing.
And I love this joke because she's like, wait, how long have I been out?
Yeah. Hours.
No, it's like an hour.
Yeah. And then she brings the package inside, opens it. There are 2 fingers and a note.
Yeah.
And I love how Dale is like freaking out more than she is. Mm-hmm. He doesn't want to look at the fingers, and he even says, "There's a note. Get the note." Like he won't touch it. He's making her do it.
His bowling fingers. And the note says, "Now we got your friend." So Dale has to go get Tucker now, and this is when we find out that Allie was grossed out by Dale when she first saw him too, and
They all sort of were
weirdly staring at her
with
in that
a
gas
sickle
station.
or whatever. Yeah, like there's reasons.
But also a little bit of stereotyping on her part.
Oh, come on. When
Sure.
we all meet the girl of your dreams, you all stare at her like you've seen the stars for the first time, right? Okay, got it.
How many first dates have you brought up kids on? Like wanting to have kids?
All of them.
All right. So all right, so now Dale goes to look for Tucker, and he finds Tucker's hat, and I think he just puts it on.
He does. It's literally a hat on a hat, which is a reference to Harmontown.
But then he finds the Weezer guy. And
yeah, and he's like, man, these college kids are crazy because he thinks he just committed suicide because he has no idea. Tucker didn't even know that guy died that way. Mm-hmm. So of course Dale doesn't know.
Away from the beach.
Yeah.
And so now Dale finds Tucker still upside down. He says, "It's a trap! It's a trap! It's a trap!"
Oh my God, this part
and
was so
there's
fucking
like
funny.
a giant toothpick that just comes flailing
It's huge,
out
guys.
of the
Yeah,
woods.
he hits a tripwire, and that giant toothpick
It's
flies.
a toothpick of unusual size.
It is.
And it flies straight through his pants.
TOUS's.
And it looks like it hits him. And
But he's not hung like a bear.
yeah, he goes,
So-
Tucker, this is one time I'm really glad I'm not hung like a bear.
Yeah.
But now he also has a hole in his pants.
He does.
Like another podcaster we know.
Oh, my.
Oh my God, the similarities are uncanny.
Oh, and this is when we remember that they're on vacation.
Yeah, 'cause I
vacation
forgot.
Sucks. All right, so now it's night, and Chad and the 2 other girls, Stripper Shoes and the girl who makes good points occasionally.
The only smart college person, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tucker and Dale aren't in the cabin. It's Chad.
I think they're out. I think he's still upside down, like they're doing the whole trap
They go
thing.
inside and they find Allie,
Who goes inside?
Chad, and Weed Whacker Face. They're like, Allie, we came to rescue. And she's like, this is a big misunderstanding. Tucker and Dale have been nothing but gentlemen. And Weed Whacker Face is like, oh my gosh, I took a class, sociology.
Oh,
She's
it's
got
Stockholm
Stockholm
syndrome.
syndrome. She's fallen in love with her
Yeah,
kidnapper.
it's just like Beauty and the Beast.
Chad loses his shit.
Yeah.
You love him? What?
Do you love him? How dare
Answer
you
me.
love him and not me? I deserve to have love from you because I'm a Chad.
And she's, of course,
Have you
like,
seen how high my collar went?
right.
and of course she's like, what is going on?
Yeah.
And so Chad just starts flinging gasoline all over the place.
Yeah.
And this is when Tucker and Dale do burst in. And he says,
Well, no,
eat
'cause he
shit,
puts the-
body
he-
perm.
When he thinks she's in love with him, he has like the axe on her face.
On her neck? Yeah.
Menacing her.
He's
yeah.
like, why do you love him? And then like they bust in. He's like, and then Dale's like, get your hands off of her.
And he's
I
talked
really
about
want him
how,
to say that. Get your damn
I
hands off her
know.
from Back to the Future, but it's.
And he's talked about how he hates hillbillies and all of them deserve to die or they
Yeah.
deserve everything that's coming to him. So he's got a little bit of a bias.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of hate in his heart.
Yeah.
But Allie's like, hey guys, this is a misunderstanding. Let's all just sit down at the table, have some tea, and talk this out.
My favorite Tucker line is, "Oh, how about we do that? I'll provide the finger sandwiches."
Yeah, because dude cut his fingers
2
off.
of them, yeah.
Yeah. And so then he goes over and he pours beer on his hands. The magic healing beer.
and Allie sits Chad down at one end of the table and Dale at the other end. They're just staring at each other.
And she's made tea. I don't know when she did it.
Yeah,
but
she makes tea.
She's got tea, but it's not chamomile because chamomile fucks with evil Chad's asthma.
And she goes, it's Earl Grey. And Dale's like, oh, I love Earl Grey tea.
Earl
Thank you
Grey
so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So now Chad starts talking, and
This is when we get his backstory. I do love this because Allie's like, well, why don't you start first and just start wherever it starts for you. 20 years ago, before I was even born. That may be too far, Chad.
Right.
No, let me say this.
And so
this is where we learn about his mom.
Yeah, so the Memorial Day Massacre was the story that he was talking about with the kids before. And apparently one of the ladies, the one that we saw run off and not get circular saw to the face, was his mother. And we hear, the story we are presented with now is that his father was forced to watch as they tortured her, but she was already pregnant. And I guess they just like let her have the
she
baby
stabbed him in the leg.
Oh, that's right. And she got
ran away. And then
but
the dad got thrown in a furnace or something. Yeah. So they never found his body.
Didn't.
Yeah.
All right. So now the other guy and Stripper Shoes are about to break in and see them drinking tea and think they're trapped. But, and they kind of are because now it's Dale's turn to share. And he doesn't have nearly as interesting a story.
I think they bust him before he can tell a story, right? That's what it is. Yeah.
Him and Allie are like, thanks for sharing. We're really sorry that happened to you. And then like the other guy and Stripper Seals bust in.
Yeah, with a weed whacker. And of course, you sort of know what's going to happen because we've been calling her Weed Whacker Face. But so Weed Whacker Face gets weed whackered to the face by the guy who busted him with a weed whacker, which you should have seen coming when the sentence started.
Exactly. Yeah. And at the beginning of the movie when we started calling her Weed Whacker Face.
Yeah.
And somehow the other friend gets like lit on fire or something.
Yeah, because Chad loses his shit and throws a lantern across the room.
Where he's just been spewing gasoline all over
and it lights his friend on fire.
It's just Stripper Heels picks up a moonshine
that I guess she thinks is water, but it's a moonshine
like,
jug.
No, don't throw that.
And then he goes up in the flames.
And that's what really catches him on fire. And then you see the fire kind of go over to the corner where the gas things are. And Tucker goes, I should have moved those.
Because now, and they all run out. Tucker, Dale, and Allie run out. And the cabin just like inside blows up.
Well, yeah. Chad tries to run out, but Weed Whacker Girl grabs him and is like, please help me. And he's like, get off me, you ugly bitch. And
kicks her in the face.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, he's an asshole. So now Chad's face is half burned off and he's chasing them out with an axe and just like roaring.
No, he comes out and he's half burned. And they're like, oh, should we help him? And he goes, roar.
Yeah.
Like, no, he's good.
And so now they're just careening with their truck through the woods. Dale's not looking at all.
No, he's looking back to see where the Chad is.
It did remind me a little bit of Texas Chainsaw Massacre when they get away and they're laughing in the car. And then they just plow into a tree.
This is my big difference with Dale. Is I'm really good in a crisis. And I would not have driven this car in a tree.
He's good in a crisis.
It's like my whole thing.
It's
That's kind of my thing, guys.
He's pretty good. He's not wrong about that.
I would, and like, who would look back while they're driving away from that?
I know.
In the woods.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah. It's not like you're on the interstate and you could look back for 3 seconds or whatever. Yeah.
Also, you have a rear view mirror.
Thank you, Jen. You have mirrors.
And so the dog is licking Dale awake. And now we find out Allie's
He's
gone.
like, Jangers, don't lick me.
Oh. And Tucker is like lying injured outside.
I thought for sure he was dead.
I did too.
Or dying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just because the way it's shot, I was expecting it to pull back and you would see him holding his guts
like
or something like that. Yeah.
But we don't really see what's going on with him.
You never really do. Yeah.
No. And that's okay.
That didn't bother me.
Beat up the whole film.
Yeah,
Really
I mean, he has been
a hard movie.
Yeah, out of the two of them, he is much
He's
worse
got like
off.
40 bee stings. He's lost 2 fingers.
Yeah.
He's only,
like,
I was about to say, he only has
beat
8
up
fingers.
twice.
Yeah.
And his cabin blew up.
Yeah, and he just paid for that vacation.
I know,
home.
sunk every penny into it. All right, so
man.
now they have their second heart to heart.
Guys out there, everyone Google the boy band Heart to Heart. One of the Backstreet Boys started it.
Really?
Yeah. He's not in it. He's like the producer of it. It's real bad. It's real funny though. You guys should watch the video for Heart to Heart Facebook official.
All right, so now they're talking about some story about frogs and how
catching something in the creek.
catching frogs in the
No,
creek.
because Dale does this self-deprecating. Should have never tried to date that girl. All these people ended up dead. All because
That's when he says the line,
because
yeah.
I wanted to date this girl.
I should have known if I'd talked to that girl, everybody would end up dead. Somebody would have ended up dead.
And Tucker's like, no, Dale, you just need to. You're a good man. You got a good heart. And he's like,
You're not as ugly as you think you
You're
are.
not as ugly as you think you are. And you know, remember when we were
Mike.
kids, and we went to go catch frogs, and then we'd always have a contest who could catch the more. And I always, said I caught more. You always caught
No,
more.
Said
I
I
always,
let you
I
catch
always said I
more.
let you win.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but I never let you win. You just
were-
always won because you were
quick.
better. Yeah.
Yeah. And she needs you. she's always falling down and knocking herself out.
And he's like, maybe you, and I see the way she looks at you and you look at her, maybe you guys could date or something after this.
Yeah.
Oh, and then they say best friends forever, and he grabs his hand and he starts screaming because he got his fingers chopped off.
What does Tucker say? Because he says something and
that did hurt me very much.
that's what it was. That's what it's so funny, man.
It is. It's
Alan
really
Tudyk
funny.
is so good.
Oh yeah, he's
Like,
amazing.
but then he's like, well, how am I going to find her? And then Tucker's like, use Jangers. Jangles will know.
Yeah, and he does.
He does.
Always
Yeah,
trust that
'cause
dog.
They're at the they're at the lumber yard.
Yeah,
And
or
she's-
Yumber yard.
That's a lumber yard.
Yumberlard. That's what I was about to say. All right, so they're at the lumber yard, and she's like evil villain tied up on this lumber thing that's gonna like saw her in half.
Rocky
70s
and Bullwinkle
cartoon.
style.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
That's where I was going. Yeah.
And we've got Harvey Dent like hovering over her with half his face
yeah.
burned off, and the other half of his hair like moosed up as high as it can
he
go.
has like a burn-faced mohawk.
Yeah.
Is what it is. Yeah.
And he
pretty
starts
bitchin'.
like demanding an apology kiss from her, and then like licking her.
Yeah.
Ugh.
He goes back to lick the neck.
Chad is very tongue heavy.
Yeah, it's gross.
Guys out there, we make fun of my
tone it down a little
relationships. As I'm a very good kisser. Okay, what you have
He
to do,
is,
you have to
guys.
All right, and we have confirmation that he is an asshole because we find out he's got a guitar pick necklace in this scene.
I did point that out.
And his collar, though half burned off, is somehow still perfectly popped up.
I love the character design of Chad.
I do too. I mean, he is just, you hate him.
All of his details are just like, because he has that white belt on too that I don't
Oh,
like.
yeah.
Every time you see a new detail, you just hate him more.
Yeah.
It's so funny. So Dale comes to the lumber yard. He breaks into the tool
The
closet.
Yumberlard.
The Yumberlard. Breaks into the tool shed to gear up. So he gets
Yeah.
on the welding mask. He puts on spikes on his feet for like climbing trees that the lumber people use.
Yeah.
Lumberjacks, I think they're called.
Yumberjacks.
Lumberjacks. Arr.
That sounds like a treat you can buy.
Dale puts on his welding mask and he gets a chainsaw.
Yeah.
He's Evil Dead 2'd himself out. This is a reference to that movie.
Yeah. He busts into the lumber yard and
Yeah.
she's tied up and he's like,
And
she
she's-
gets super scared.
Because she doesn't know who it is. And he says, no, it's just me. It's just me.
Yeah, because Chad isn't around at this moment. Chad's gone to the control room.
Right. And-
So they talk for a moment. He's trying to untie her, and you hear Chad come over the loudspeaker.
But first, I think this was really funny because he's like, I tried to dress up to be intimidating, it didn't work, and she's like,
sorta. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
was
why
pretty
I was
great.
screaming.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's
But
like,
as he's trying to untie her, Chad comes on and then turns on the machine. And
Yeah.
is it a chipper?
It's a
like
circular
it's
saw.
It's a
a circular saw that cuts like 2x4s or whatever.
A
Yeah.
lumber splitter or something.
Yeah.
Gonna split her in half. So now Dale's trying to untie this knot, and he tries to cut it with a chainsaw, but then
He
evil
tries to
Chad.
bite it.
Yeah.
He tries everything.
he tries to untie it because he's like,
Yeah.
he's like, the rabbit goes into the hole.
God.
It's out of the hole.
All right, so now evil Chad kicks him in the face, and now they're fighting, and she's still on this thing, and so then Dale like throws an axe that miraculously cuts her free.
And then she gets off and runs away, more or less.
yeah.
And they're like fighting with Chad's got a pole, Dale's got a chainsaw, and they're fighting. And then eventually they do sort of run off together. Dale and Allie, right? And they run upstairs.
Dale uses the spike on his foot to hurt his leg,
yeah.
and then Chad falls down and he throws the chainsaw that's on to Chad to try to like freak him out.
Yeah, not blade first.
Not blade first, but he like catches it and then he runs away because he's not trying to kill Chad because Dale's a sweet guy.
Yeah, no, he's just trying to get Allie out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so they go upstairs and they barricade the door, except evil Chad has a chainsaw. But that'll come into play in just a minute because now they're trying to find something in the office to stop him. And they find chamomile tea.
And
then they find a newspaper. And it turns out that Chad.
It's a very specific newspaper.
It is,
yeah.
yeah. Almost like somebody wanted them to
I
find
love
it.
this
And by
Dilbert cartoon.
Yeah, I mean, the screenwriter wanted them to find us. All right, so we find out that Chad's dad was the killer the whole time.
Yeah, and he raped
that's
his
why
mom.
they never found the body.
Yeah, and it's also why he's fucking crazy.
But they don't say that. They say, and you're a part hillbilly too.
Yep.
Yeah, he comes in, he's about to kill Dale. Dale grabs the paper, he's like, no, you're half hillbilly.
And he just believes it. Like, there's no way he could have read that article that quickly.
Yeah.
No, it's definitely like an Empire Strikes Back, Vader, I am your father moment.
Oh, yeah.
You're half hillbilly. He's like, no, it can't be.
And then he blows a bunch of chamomile tea in his face and says some kind of trivia thing. And then
Well, yeah, he talks about how chamomile tea can trigger anaphylactic shock with those who have asthma.
Right.
Yeah.
But he'll be fine as long as we can get his inhaler to him because Dale's still a nice guy. And then he just falls out the window.
And then he falls out the window. Yeah.
And dies.
It's great.
And I love it because Dale's just like,
I do love how he slowly closes the window. It's sort of like a door. Like it's like a barn they're in.
Yeah.
I don't really know. Like
it's a lumberyard.
Yeah. So like they open.
Lumberyards don't seem safe.
They're not. Lumberjacking is the most dangerous type
Difficult
of
of the
jacking you
jacking.
can do.
I would definitely lumberjack off.
Yes, it depends on how big the tree is.
How girthy the tree is, you might say, Jen?
One might say it. I would not, though, because I'm a lady. So now we see the reporter from the beginning. And so that scene we didn't need at the beginning finally comes back into play. But it's just Tucker watching from his hospital bed. So hooray, Tucker is saved.
Yes.
And he's got his fingers reattached. And so Dale comes in to talk to him and say, hey, and Dale's all cleaned up now. They don't look like hillbillies anymore. They look like just regular Southern people.
Did go out to that cabin to do like yard
Right,
work. So they dress like yard work people. They had their
Right.
old yard work clothes.
And they just kind of lean into the accents, I think, you know.
Oh,
They're
absolutely.
just out in nature, you know.
Yeah.
And if you're from the South, if you're around people with an accent, your accent starts to come out a little bit more.
Yeah,
you
when I
know?
go home to my mom's house in Mississippi, I definitely
you lean
more
into
I
into
was
it.
born in Nashville. I lived in Nashville the vast majority of my life, and I have zero accent. I can't even really do a country accent.
Well, listeners, let us know. Does Todd have an accent? Tucker shows his two fingers that got reattached.
Oh,
except-
man. This scene caused me to worry greatly about
Yeah.
some things.
A lot of things.
Yes.
Because one of those nails is bright red. And he's like, I don't remember
And it's
that finger
that-
looking
so-
like that.
Yeah. But
And
it's
I'm just
not his
waiting
finger.
for that pain medicine to
I
wear
actually don't
off.
like this joke.
Me
I think
either.
it's so dumb.
Where did
It
they
is-
get that finger?
Yeah.
It's the Stripper Hills girls who blew up.
Oh, I get it now.
cool.
Okay.
Yeah. But also, I still don't like the joke because I feel like it's kind of beneath the movie.
I kind of do feel like it's a little lazy, yeah. But I love Alan Tudyk, so I'll allow it.
I do love Alan Tudyk, yeah.
And so Dale brought him a PBR with a little ribbon tied around it and his favorite sipping utensil, a bendy straw.
You're not really supposed to have beer when you're on pain medication.
No.
So this
But
seems
one's
real
not
dangerous.
Too bad.
Listen, guys. make a
Says the
take.
medical professional.
Yeah, I know, right?
I'm not a medical professional. I'm a mental health professional. So there's a big difference.
So don't listen to Mikey when it comes to mixing pills and alcohol.
How about this? The opinions of me on this podcast do not listen to any of them about your health at all.
Yeah.
For
But
once, Tucker doesn't dump the beer all over his injuries. He just drinks it.
it would be very funny if he just dumped it all over himself. But yeah, but Tucker is very concerned as to whether Dale asked her out on a date, and Dale kind of wishy-washes on it, and he's like, well, she told me she was a good bowler, so we're going bowling.
And so now it's bowling time.
Yeah.
And so they're bowling, and Dale tells the weirdo at the bowling alley, I think his name is BJ, that life is short and just be
and he's missing his front teeth.
And
You
he's
have to go after what you want. It's
and
like
he's
Dale's lesson he learned.
He's giving him the pep talk that Tucker gave him at the
Yeah.
beginning. And so the weirdo goes and talks to another girl who's sitting down at the other side of the bowling alley.
In a different lane.
Yeah. And so then Dale gives Allie a gift, and it's a helmet.
A pink helmet.
Because with like some flowers on it, I think.
Although
Because
I think
she
he's-
just cannot stop getting herself knocked out.
Yeah, I think it's a hilarious, thoughtful gift
I think
that's
so, too.
really funny and sweet.
And
Because
she takes it pretty well.
Yeah.
So now they kiss and it's sweet. And behind them, we see BJ causing a ruckus.
I think he punches that woman.
I know.
It was very
but it just
concerning.
looks like the start of not that kind of BJ's movie. It
Okay,
looks
I
like
was
the
about to
start
say.
of like
the start of an arrest report.
Yeah.
yeah, yes, but it looks like the start of BJ in the bowling alley versus Evil because it's kind of the same thing. Like
I think
they're
BJ
just,
was the evil, but
Yeah,
yeah.
BJ, yeah.
Because I think, and I may have just seen it wrong, it looks like he punches that woman, knocks her out, and drags her out of the bowling alley.
or is that what the friends think it looks like, and that's why they think BJ is evil? But really, he's just kind-hearted and is trying to help her and accidentally elbowed her.
Well,
or
Dale looks
something.
back and he's like, whatever,
man.
And he
Not
just
getting
continues
involved in
kissing
that.
the girl.
Yeah.
Because he finally got what he wanted.
Yeah, love.
He got to kiss the girl.
Wow, he wanted love. He wanted the real thing.
La, la, la. And that's the movie.
And that's the movie. I love this movie. I thought it was great. I thought it was better than Leslie Vernon, which is saying something because I love Leslie Vernon.
Strong words.
I think it's just better made than Leslie.
That's what I
Vernon.
think, too.
Yeah.
And I
I think,
think-
and that's what makes the difference.
I think Leslie Vernon is the shining example in Leslie Vernon. Like Nathan is so good in Leslie Vernon. He stands out so much.
He elevates everything.
Yeah, I think the people around him aren't nearly as good. In this movie, Tucker and Dale are amazing, but everyone around them is pretty good too. And I just feel like it makes it a better movie. They're also at a much, much bigger budget than The Rise of Leslie Vernon did. And I think that shows. And it makes it a better movie.
Leslie Vernon with a bigger budget would have been an equal to this movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because the writing and the story in Leslie Vernon is there. It just
and
doesn't have
Nathan
as much money.
is as strong, if not stronger, than Alan Tudyk and Dale. Yeah, so
she
good.
would do more stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad I could share the movie with you. I love this movie. It's so silly and goofy, and like it always cheers me up after like a bad day. And like I just connect with Dale so much.
I get it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really funny. I feel like it's successfully funny, like where it's supposed to be funny, you know. It's pretty gory, you know, and like, it's just the right amount of what it is, you know. It just really works.
It definitely threads a thin line there, walks a thin line. And I feel like it does it mostly successfully, except for like
every once in a while there's a little joke that's
I feel like they had the concept and it really peaks in the cabin scenes, and then like at the beginning it's kind of weak, in the end it's kind of
because it's the two actors together. That's when the movie is the best.
Yes.
Yeah. And you know, Tucker is my favorite. When he's on screen, it's just amazing.
I really wanted a sequel to this.
I got fun.
Yeah, she got fun facts about it.
Fun facts.
Before we get into fun facts, let's talk about box office.
Those are our final thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. So let's talk about box office, because sadly, it's not as good as it should have been, guys.
Does this even get a wide release?
It didn't get a wide release in the U.S., really. It did internationally, and so it did better internationally. But the budget was $5 million. It only made $223,000 in the U.S.
Yikes.
So it did real bad in theaters, but it also didn't get a wide release.
Yeah, it premiered at Sundance and then got a limited release after that. But it premiered like really well.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
I just think they couldn't afford to get in all the theaters. I'm not quite sure how that works,
Yeah,
but
or maybe the
it didn't get a wide release.
distribution.
Yeah. It did get a pretty good distribution overseas, and because of that, it did $5.2 million. So it made money.
It made its money.
But it didn't do great.
But now it's become kind of like a cult movie.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, like beloved among the horror community. It's just that people outside of that community don't really know about it.
It's so good, man.
So, hey guys, if you haven't seen this movie, well, we just spoiled it all for you.
But it's
check
still
it
funny.
out. It's really good. Share it with your friends.
And if you have seen this movie, get your horror virgin friends to watch it, because it is very, very funny and not really scary. We'll talk about the scary scale in a second, but it's definitely one everyone should see.
And I feel like it's kind of a good intro into horror because it's really not scary. And the gore is, I mean, it is pretty gory and bloody, but it's not really that bad.
Like you even made some references I did not know, like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre reference. I didn't get that, but it was still very funny.
Right.
And the Evil Dead 2 reference, I didn't get that, but that was still very funny too. So like, I don't think you need to know all the tropes to think it's as funny as it is.
Right. All
Anyway,
right.
so let's do fun facts.
All right.
Not a whole lot for box office, sadly.
Well, sadly, there's not a whole lot of fun facts either. I did find some stuff. So this was shelved for about 3 years before release. And the same thing happened with Cabin in the Woods. And I think sometimes with movies like these, like studios just don't quite know what to do with them or how to like market and release them. But anyways, it sat on a shelf for 3 years before it got released. That sucks.
that does suck.
All right. We've been talking a lot about Alan Tudyk because he's just amazing. But the actor that plays Dale is called Tyler Labine.
I love him like everything
He's great.
he does.
Yeah, he's great. I've seen him in other things too.
He was in Rise of the Planet of the Apes, and he was in Fly Boys, and I haven't seen either of those.
I've seen Fly Boys.
Yeah.
It's about World War I pilots.
He's in a lot of TV too. He's basically really good and funny in almost anything I've seen him in.
Yeah, I think this might be the only thing I've seen him in that I've known. But Alan Tudyk is in a billion things. He was in Rogue One. He was Pastor Veal on Arrested Development.
Yep.
And he was Steve the Pirate in Dodgeball.
Yep. Yar.
And he was in that Frasier episode that I enjoy. But he was in Firefly and Serenity, which you're a big fan of. And I
if you haven't seen Firefly or Serenity, watch them.
And that's Joss Whedon, right?
So good. You probably wouldn't like it because it takes place in space,
Yeah,
and
it's
you've never
definitely
been to
in
space,
space.
so
But it's
you
Joss
can't
Whedon,
really
though,
relate
right?
to it.
It is Joss Whedon.
It is a
So-
space western.
So that can, I don't like Westerns either. I don't know. We'll see. I'll give it a try.
Maybe if this would open you up to space stuff, that'd be good because the listener request
Well, that's true.
is space.
And I've got thoughts about my opinions on space horror that I'll say for there. But one thing that Tyler Labine actually was in was an episode of The X-Files. And it's interesting because there's a part in there where he's having his little heart-to-heart with Tucker, and he's talking about how sometimes he made him lick the toads, and it made me feel real weird.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so
yeah.
In this episode of X-Files, he does lick a toad. So I wonder if that's what they were talking about.
I bet it was.
I bet it was too. So we talked a little bit about the references, and we talked about the reference to Texas Chainsaw Massacre and reference to Evil Dead. I think Deliverance was kind of an inspiration a little bit in this movie, which is why I recommended that book at the beginning of the episode. But, and you've seen this movie, there's also a reference to Dog Soldiers.
Yes.
When Weezer guy impales himself on that tree. Do you remember something like that in that movie?
Dog Soldiers is good. I've wanted us to watch that.
Yeah, it's on our list. We just haven't made it to there yet. But
I watched a lot of werewolf movies.
Yeah.
No, we haven't really.
So there are rumors of a sequel happening. They started talking about it back in 2010, and then nothing ever really happened.
10 years later.
Well, I mean, the movie was being made in 2010, so that's just them talking about it when they're making the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When did it come out?
Sorry, if it was shelved for 3 years, it came out in 2010, so it was probably 2007 it was made.
But but nothing ever really happened with that. But now Tyler Labine gave an interview pretty recently where he said they are working on some kind of sequel right now.
That's awesome.
But it's most likely not going to be a movie.
Oh.
And he didn't say, so maybe
so
like
it could be a series or something.
series,
so good.
That would be cool.
or possibly a comic book or something like that.
That would be
that
less
would be
good.
less good.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of comic books. But, I mean, whatever it is, he said both Alan Tudyk and himself are on board. So it will be the two of them and the original director, too.
That's
which
one. He also was one of the writers.
Yeah, right. And his name is Eli Craig. And I think he did a great job with it.
Me too. I think it's good. Well directed, well written.
Yep. And those are my fun facts.
Awesome. Thank you for your Gents Fun Facts.
Now
with
even
more
fun. All right.
All right, scary scale, guys. Let's do it.
Hey, listeners. Our scary scale, which we're trying to figure out how to put online for referencing, is our ranking of how scared we were when we watched this movie. It's not a ranking of the quality of the movie. It's how scared we were today when we watched it. Have a feeling we are going to have a 3-way tie, but we'll see what happens. All right, Todd, what you got?
6.
What?
No. It's definitely a 1 for me.
Yeah.
But I loved this movie. It's just not intended to be scary, and it's not.
Right.
What it's intended to be is funny, and they crushed that.
They really did.
It's so good.
Kind of going back to what we said, like this is a good kind of gateway into horror.
Sure.
Or maybe horror to watch with maybe like your teenage kid or something, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, or someone who just doesn't like horror, like me. Like, I don't like horror movies, and this was a fun reprieve from movies like VHS.
Besides the gore, it's kind of like a family-friendly movie.
I mean, there's a little bit of stripping.
I think
but
there
not
might be a little
much.
bit of nudity, but it's really far away. I couldn't really tell.
Well, that's just like Jaws.
That's
Look,
true.
I'm not saying watch it with your kids. I'm saying if you've got like maybe your 12-year-old is interested in horror, this might be one that they can kind of
I agree with that.
Sure.
Yeah, Mikey, what are you going to put?
Definitely a 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 1 too. And again, remember, listeners, we're not saying this is a 1 on a quality
No,
scale.
it's a
We're
fantastic
saying-
movie.
Yeah, but I don't think it's really trying to be scary, and it's really
No.
But we all loved it. Quality-wise, I'd probably put it 7, 8, somewhere
Yeah,
around there.
it's definitely.
Absolutely.
So this week, you guys made me watch Tucker and Dale versus Evil, and thank you so much for that. What are you guys making me watch next week?
Well, next week we have a returning fan favorite guest to watch a special movie.
Yeah, I
with
know what this
us.
is then.
I know.
I'm excited.
And I
Yeah,
haven't
yeah.
actually seen this movie. Next
This
week.
is my pick.
So, Mikey, say it.
We're going to watch Shocker, which is a movie I watched at my grandmother's house with my cousins.
Uh-oh.
And it's an 80s horror film.
Electricity horror.
Is this another movie that you watched at your grandmother's house?
No, it's the other grandmother.
Oh.
So
okay.
one house I watched ridiculous movies because I was in control. And then the other house we watched actual scary movies.
This is Wes Craven, isn't it?
I believe it is.
I think it is.
And like the main character is like faux Tom Cruise. That's all I remember. And it's like this movie scared the shit out of me as like a
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Was it like your Fright Night?
Yes.
Well, I'm interested to see it.
Yeah.
Yep, and we're going to have a special guest with us. I'm excited.
All right, guys. So watch Shocker for next week.
Yep.
So, guys, we're going to read a 5-star review that we found on iTunes. So Mikey is going to read it.
Okay, so this review is called They Can Get It. I found the horror version after I watched Hereditary and was desperately seeking podcasts and videos on YouTube that discussed it because I had no horror friends.
Aw.
Same, Emmy.
Well, I have horror friends and it's not awesome. So
I was
They make you do a podcast.
I was instantly hooked. This is something I've always wanted to do, and listening to these folks each week was a great treat. Now I'm part of the Horror Virgin family, and I wouldn't trade it for the world.
We wouldn't trade you either.
Weekly watch parties, horror discussion, questions of the day. I love this group of people, and Jen, Mikey, and Todd have created an amazing and welcoming space.
Aw.
listen for the virgin, stay for the on-point horror discussion.
Yeah.
And that review was by Imogeny, which I'm pretty sure is
5
our
stars.
Emmy Holiday.
It's gotta
from,
be.
Yeah, from
gotta
the
be.
Facebook group. But she's definitely referencing the Facebook group. Those are the questions of the day, all that stuff
Yeah.
is the content in the Facebook group. And it's really fun.
Yeah,
We're
guys,
talking
check
about
out the
a lot of
Facebook
awesome
group.
Stuff. Yeah.
Well, I'm
Thank
like a
you so
faux
much
admin.
for that review, guys. That was so sweet. We're really happy to have such an awesome horror
Community.
virgin family.
Yeah.
You should
it's
join
really
the Facebook
cool.
group. It's super fun.
You should. Even if you hate Facebook, just only join our group.
Yeah,
mom's
absolutely.
in it.
But if you want to follow us on socials, it's at Horror Virgin on all of them. Jen is at Jen Ferratu. Mikey is at M Randolph24, and I am at Todd J Awesome. If you want to go to our website, it's horrorvirgin.com. You have the blog up there, links to the store, all that good stuff. Patreon is patreon.com/horrorvirgin, all that stuff. If you really just Google the Horror Virgin, you'll find all of this shit.
Yeah.
Right? We are a member of the Modern Horrors Podcast Network, of course. And if you want to listen to those great shows, you have, of course, the Modern Horrors flagship podcast, The Final Girls, and Death, Dying, and Other Things. And if you're listening to us in their feed on Wednesday, make sure you switch over to our feed. You'll get it every Monday instead of every Wednesday. Get it 2 days earlier. Ooh. All right, guys, that's going to be it from us.
That's what I say. Hey, guys, that's going to be it from us this
Yeah,
week.
that's it from us.
See, I just say it with just as an extra little something special.
Well, guys, this is it from us.
Guys, this is it from us this week.
This is going to be it from us, guys.
Guys, but
No.
this really is it.
But this, me saying this right now was actually it from us.
Us
us is
This
this.
is this week.
This is it.
It.
From us.
But
This
just from
us,
this
we-
week.
This
it
is
does.
ended this week.
We're
us.
going to be back next week, though. So
Are we?
everybody, well,
Not the way this is
some
going.
of us might.
I think that we will still be going.
That's true.
All right.
Is it already next week?
This
We've been
podcast
recording
is longer than the Joss recording. But this is
Yeah.
going to be it this week.
So that's going to be it from us this week. Fuck you, man.
So I think this is everything we're going to say right now.
I don't think we have anything else to say.
Pretty sure that this right here is the last thing that you're going to hear before we close
No,
it up.
I think
But is
this might be the moment that ends the moments of the podcast.
the final moments of the podcast?
If you're hoping the podcast is going to keep going, this sadly is the end.
Yeah, this is going to be it from us this week, guys.
This is like our second date. This is all of it.
Oh.
It's over.
Holy shit.
That's what she said.
All right.
Oh.
Please.
So this is for really real going to be it from us this week. I'm Jen.
And I'm Mikey. And this is probably the
Oh my God.
the opposite of beginning.
And I'm your horror virgin Todd, guys. So this is the last thing you're going to hear.
Bye.
Have a great
Oh, sorry.
week. And this is the end of that.
This is what happens when we go on vacation, guys. We forget how to podcast.
Oh my God. This, no joke, guys. I'm leaving this in. We've been recording for 3 hours,
Oh my God.
7 minutes, and 35 seconds.
Holy shit.
Holy shit. Bye. Nerds. Oh, dear God.